I'm not happy right now. I am in like a very, very bad mood for several reasons. We're gonna get to why that is soon. Hello, Grant Turner. Welcome to the stream. Um, yeah, this is gonna be a lot different than the other streams. For real though, I just popped in. What's going on with Channel Awesome now? Um, a lot of things, none of which are good, and have only served to stoke the fires even more. So much so that I'm debating whether or not this is going to be the last time I bring up this topic, even though, as of now, there's going to be just so much to add to the document. But I am just not happy. I'm pissed off for many different reasons. I'm in shock. I'm in disbelief. I'm kind of just upset in general. And we're going to talk about it on this stream. Yes, Grant. Many new things have happened since the document came out. And we're going to head to this place for our first stop on this stream. A place that's been keeping up with this in a very personal manner since all this started. Something you may recognize if you've been on the Channel Awesome site. I want you to keep an eye on this show list. We're going to come back to that in about an hour or so. Take a good look at the people who are on it now. Because it's going to change probably as soon as we come back. I've not scripted any of this. I've not really... I would say not really gone in depth on this. Or really talked about this place in particular. But it's been keeping pretty much a steady live coverage of everything that's been happening as it's been happening, and has several people involved in the forums. One thing I want to note before we start, the fan document, as of now, is not to be trusted in any way, shape, or form. Even if there are people on there that actually did give their real stories because of the incredibly open nature of the document and how everything was planned out, how everything ended up going, just don't trust any of the fan accounts. The actual Not So Awesome document remains unchanged. Those are all from the producers themselves. I'm just going to give this another minute, so I'm going to transition back into the opening screen until we actually start proper. Yet so much has happened. Let me get up the chats. This is going to take me a second. Welcome back, Henrik. Welcome, Carousel Unique. Just make sure that's all working. Let me get the live feed up. Okay. There we go. I had an account posing as Channel Awesome to try to get into my comments. I thought that was going to be the strangest Channel Awesome related part of my day. No, it's gonna get a lot worse. So, first off, there is no video proof of this as of yet. This is going purely off of convention goers who happened to be in the room, and several accounts have been able to confirm this as it happened. And if there's any video evidence, I'm going to post it in the description of this video once this is uploaded to YouTube. This happened, like, all of this just happened all at once today. I didn't expect to stream today. I wanted to actually take a day off, maybe have a breather from all of this. But of course, I couldn't have that because so much shit happened. It's not just the producers leaving, or the contributors leaving, though that is a large part of it. It's so much more than that. During the panel that they were at, the 3-hour panel, wasn't canceled. Doug was asked about change the channel, which was inevitable. Someone was going to ask about it. It was just going to be brought up. They always record these panels. So I highly... Well, someone always records them. So I highly suspect that there's going to be video up on this soon, if there hasn't been already. And who knows, this is still live as it's happening. So much shit could happen right now. It's all up in the air. When Doug was asked about change the channel, he decided to double down, say he had no clue what this person was talking about, or no, he didn't have a clue, did not address any of the problems, and instead talked about how awesome his boss was, Mike Michaud. That's not all that happened today. From what's been said, just from behind the scenes, whatever the hell is happening over there, it's been suspected that Michaud, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, I've gone through Michaud, and everyone's been saying it's Michaud, so that's what I'm going with. Someone on the back end has given the producers that are still currently there an ultimatum. You are either with us or you're against us. If you're against us, you're out. If you decide to leave of your own accord, even just not barring any of this, okay. You leave, we delete all your videos. As of today, Tony Goldmark, The Dom, Battle Geek Plus, Kaluna. I'm sorry if I'm going to forget anyone, but these are the ones I know right off the top of my head. Asshole is the pronunciation. Okay, I appreciate it. This is not the time for jokes. Nash. I believe Mavern is next. In fact, let me go up. Ask Lovecraft. All of them. Including, it says on the form, Brandon T is also, all of them are just completely gone. Horror Guru also left. That was around yesterday. Tony Goldmark, after facing this decision for weeks, also decided to leave. The 10th anniversary that Doug and Rob originally had planned is now canceled. They originally bought all the members that were currently there plane tickets. Those are now completely gone. Wasted money because they have no producers left. Channel Awesome as a channel lost 20,000 subscribers, or 2,000, sorry, they lost 2,000 subscribers in 20 minutes. Over the past 5 days, they've lost almost 30,000 subscribers. That might not seem like a lot, but remember, this has been growing exponentially over the past 5 days, according to Social Blade. People have also since turned this into a celebration of sorts. Celebrating how much they wanted to see Channel Awesome burn to the ground. I want to say this right now. If any of you in this chat, or any of you that have been on Twitter who are currently supporting me, that were gleeful and happy that Channel Awesome was burning to the stake and absolutely, wanted to just see the entire thing collapse from under itself, get out. Now, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to discuss anything with you, because and if you have been following these streams, thinking that, you have missed the entire point that I have made with the original video. So many of you, so many people that I've seen were just ecstatic about this. Thinking that I was part of some sort of revolution that wanted to see it burn to the ground. I have seen people ecstatic, watching their subscriber numbers fall just for the hell of it, just to see just how much it fell, and just being delightful about it, harassing other creators now, getting on Brad Jones and who's the other one? Sage, Brad Jones, the senior people that are still there, and Angry Joe, I believe, harassing them about this. I also want to say, right now, if you are one of those people, and if you are one of the ones actively trying to make this into a bigger deal and wanted to see all of this happen, lied about it, sabotage the fan document, also get out. And if you're still subscribed to me thinking that I will continue to cover this under that pretense, under the fact that I wanted to see all of this happen, unsubscribe, unfollow me, get out. Because right now, I'm debating whether or not to continue on this. I already said this at the beginning of the stream. I meant it. I've watched Channel Awesome for the better part of 6 to 8 years. The Nostalgia Critic, Linkara, Lindsay Ellis, Allison, Obscura Sloopa, Mars Girl, Tony Goldmark. Every single one of them I've watched at one point or another, without almost no prior knowledge of what this was happening. And any prior knowledge I did have, I thought that it was going to get better. I didn't come into this thinking that I was going to make any sort of change, or thinking that my words would be taken so far out of context that it would be used as a smear campaign for the channel. I didn't want any of whatever happened to Channel Awesome to happen. I didn't want a single part of that. I wanted them to get better. I wanted them to improve, see the error of their ways. At the very least, 2 words. 2 fucking words was all they needed to do to tell them, just to have all of this at least have some semblance of empathy. Something that I could grab onto. 2 words. We are... My fault. We're sorry. That was it. And they couldn't even accomplish that. They dug themselves into their own graves and continue to dig themselves even further and are hemorrhaging talent at an exceptional rate. Something that I, nor even Obscurus Lupa or Mars Girl who started this, could have ever predicted. Nobody wanted this. I didn't want this to turn into a fight, but if that's what they want, then fine. That's how it's gonna be. But to anyone out there who was also like me, who didn't want to see this burn, who did wanted to see change, who have actively talked to on other social media feeds like Twitter, Facebook, just in my own personal life or on YouTube, I want to thank you. Because not only did you understand that, but you were nice enough, and for the most part, civil enough to realize where this was coming from. I cared about Channel Awesome for the longest time. Even though it didn't seem like it, even though this YouTube channel was completely empty, and this is really the only time I've ever discussed it, I did care. I wanted to move on from this. I, honest to God, thought that today, when everyone was just saying this is now dying down, no. All of this just forced me right back into it. And I'm sick of it. I'm tired of covering this. Reading past that 69-page document, even though it was late at night, it exhausted me so much more than any of you probably realize. And the fact that that thing's still filling up, the actual official document, not the fan one, the fact that that is still filling up, and the fact that I've still got so much more to read about possibly stuff that was even worse, stuff that wasn't even covered in there. And trust me, there have been some just absolute horrible stories in there about how they were treated. It disgusts me. It sickens me. Do you want to know what else hurts? The Empire State Comic Con that Doug went to? Yeah, it was right around this area. I'm not going to say where I am again, but I will tell you that where I am currently, whether that be where I actually live or not, he was right over there. He was not even an hour's drive away. Twitter put me in a very bad mood. I will not lie. Do you also want to know what else actively pissed me off, and I feel horrible for even giving this guy attention? Was that on Twitter, before Tony Gomark even, but before he even announced his thing from Channel Awesome, he had this one person that over a Freudian slip that he made go after him about his own problems with how he was raped, gangbanged, sorry, had his hair pulled out, and did all that. And you know what? I probably would have empathized with him under better terms. He was one of those people that actively wanted to see the channel burn. And do you want to know what else? He's still having that argument with me. He is trying to laud said abuse over other people, myself included, a random nobody that he just met on Twitter, to try and make it out throughout all of this like he was the victim, and then claiming that he was being generous and well-willing with that, both to myself and to Tony. That is the kind of person who I will not accept here. I will not accept on Twitter. I will not even give him, after this stream, I will no longer give him nor anyone like him the time of day. That is unacceptable. That is what I despise of what's become of this movement. Of what this a section of this movement rather, because a majority of you have been very civil, very kind, and I've made sure to tell you this. Do not take my goodwill for granted. Ever. And I also want to say about that Twitter guy, despite my own anger towards him right now, I don't wish him ill will. Whether or not that story's true, so be it. I'm going under the assumption that it is true, and I feel terrible about what happened to him if it is true. But that's not an excuse to act in the way that he did. He's possibly watching this live stream right now, because I'm getting like actual like live coverage of him. So, you know what? I'm just going to end it there. Actually glad to say something about the Twitter thing because it got worse, so I imagine it did. So I'm leaving it. I'm just going to leave it there. Next, I want to address the Doug thing a little further. I don't know what kind of bubble he's in to think that any of this was okay, or to be in a position where he could praise his boss for what he did. Sorry, I'm just gonna probably turn chat off for the rest of this stream. Because I guarantee you I'm gonna regret making this stream in the morning. Where was I? Oh, the Doug thing. I don't know what kind of position he's in to like say that about his boss, especially with what's come out, and especially when a fan even directly asked him about it. But it just baffles me. It's like Doug is in this like little bubble and doesn't understand what's going on, but it confuses me even more because they paid him, and they paid so many other producers. When I refer to him, I mean like that was a slip. I mean like most of the producers on the site to come out to there, like Erod, Blockbuster Buster, we talked about a few streams ago. He was also set to be there. All gone. And it wasn't even so much the fact, even if he'd stayed quiet, that would have been fine. But he didn't. He addressed it, but he also addressed it in the way that was just saying, like, oh, yeah, this happened. We don't agree with them necessarily, etc., etc., stuff to that effect. It's just a complete shit show. Again, I'm sorry I'm not reading chat. It's just other stuff is like taking my attention away. It's just notifications and that. Please though, if anyone does have the link to that video about Doug saying that everyone's been saying there is, but like no one's found out, please like link it into the stream so I can copy and paste it into the descriptions for people to watch later. But yeah, those were like the two main things that I wanted to touch on. There was one other thing, and that was actually going to the forums and addressing people's reactions to seeing these creators, like, discuss it and, like, seeing, like, what's happened, because all their sub-forums are gone. But the main forum, the Producers That Left Channel Awesome thread, is still up. I don't know for how long, especially considering, like almost all of the producers on the site are gone. There were 20 that left. There were... I'm hearing conflicting things, 8 to 14. It just keeps growing. But now it's up to, like, 34. Like, almost half of the site, if not 3/4 of it, is just completely gone. And I wanted to just, like, show you just how this is actually affecting people who have, like, made usernames, made accounts on the site. I mean, I've also made an account on the site, just putting that aside. But I've only ever used it, I think, ever once, and I never used the forums at all. So seeing all this play out is just completely new to me. 9 left today. Okay, so yeah, so there might have been one that, like, just left that they just started bringing up just now. But let's actually bring up the forums after I just sort of reorganize all this. Sorry, this stream again was, like, kind of unprecedented. Several things started happening at once on different accounts. It's a mess. Come on. Alright. Crap, how do we bring this up? I'm also not going to end it early because despite, like, everything that's happened so far, and despite how, like, pissed off and angry I have been throughout kind of the entire stream, I do want to end this off on some sort of, like, good note. I mean, not necessarily good, but, just, like, a sort of takeaway from all of this. And I'm probably going to turn the chats back on because what happened before has, for the most part, passed. Well, it's not past per se, it's still ongoing. Several things that have been talked about, but yeah. And also, just one other thing. Anyone in the stream right now, if any of you have also seen everything that's been going on outside of, like, the YouTube channel, the streams, everything else, and feels the need to, like, come to my defense or try and do that, please don't. Like, I can take care of my own self. I'm, like, I'm a grown man. I don't need anyone defending me or telling me or giving me, like, sympathy towards the channel. I've heard it all. It's just done. So, let's... Where is it? Here it is. Let's start from... What's a good thread to start from? We'll start from earlier today, where the latest person who had originally left was Chris Stuckman. And this was around 2:27 a.m. So this was early in the morning. And just show how this day in particular sort of just, devolved. There we go. I'm not going to do a live reading of any of this because this is way too long and too dense, but I'm going to go through, like, just a play-by-play of what happened, essentially, because I've been keeping up with this since around, I want to say, like, 10 o'clock my time. So yeah, there's stuff about how half the stuff shouldn't have been legal, blah blah blah, all of that. People have just been posting links around of other people's videos, and right here is where it kind of all started to shift because Rocked, as you know, is one of, if you go on Channel Awesome's page, or if you did right now, or if you like looked back at the stream once it's done, if it captured it, that is, I hope it did. Rocked was one of the like front pagers, along with several other people, and then he left. And then Soft Lavender, who has been covering this, what they've been doing is kind of showing other people's videos overlaid with her streams. I think that's what's happening. If not, like, someone actually give clarification for that. That's just kind of what I've been seeing from it all. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand why she's doing it. And she hasn't, I think it was just like today that I noticed it. It was sort of a discussion live stream, so it was just, I think, again, I'm not sure about this. I think it was her interacting with the chat as well. I can't remember. Yeah, let's continue. So yeah, they did that. Then on Twitter, Tony Goldmark, some jerk with the camera, despite my own opinion of it, I follow him, but I don't. I've mixed feelings on him, especially on his political views. But even despite that, like I disagree with like Lindsay Ellis, Tony Goldmark, just to put this out there, and Dan Olson, kind of. That's just kind of shady, sketchy sort of thing. I disagree with them on many, many things. Won't say what those things are. If you followed these people, you should know what, what's happened. And I don't want to get political in this stream. But despite that, just considering what's happened, I can still sort of feel for that. They've been through this. I'm looking past those views and opinions in light of everything, and just seeing this for like what it is, just sort of these producers that have just been leaving en masse and actually looking at the main problem that's been happening. Whether or not any of you think that's a good idea, I mean, I can't change your opinion. That's just what I think. But yeah, he left, and then Nash left. Like, keep in mind, this all started happening around, so it was 2 a.m. that they were just talking about this. Day goes on, it's business as normal, even though, like, Channel Awesome was sort of starting to continue to kind of bleed subscribers, but it wasn't at a rate that was kind of noticeable at that point, or, like, everything was just sort of kind of riding the waves, just kind of calm. And then, all of a sudden, around 12 to 1, was it 1? Yeah, it was around 1-ish, 12:30-ish. All of this just compounded itself at once. They were keeping live count as this was happening. I should probably expand that. Oh, it was just the link to the Twitter. It's already been mentioned. They were talking about what will happen with how the smoke clears. And then right after that, Kaluna and Dom also left. Who I mentioned had left earlier. Up until this point, like, the only other two people that had left from the last stream that I did, where I discussed this, was, at least the last huge one of note, was Chris Stuckman. Especially considering the crossovers he done on other reviews. And yeah, like that was really the only big one to know. And then all of a sudden, just everyone just left the comics and cartoon section or whatever. uh I showed it. I did show that at the beginning, and I told you to keep an eye on that. That was a lot fuller this morning. It now only has Masako and Sage, and I don't know where Bennett stands on this. I'm not gonna ask him because that's rude, and he can make his own decisions. He's just one of the senior people that is left, really. Um, I don't know what he's gonna do. But they're the only ones really left there. Like, keep in mind, like, all of these people just left at once. And some of them are still up on the site, like Nash, Ask Lovecraft, a lot of the bigger ones that reached front page, quote unquote, reached. They're still up, even after all this time. So I don't know what's happening, because the other ones were taken off, like, right quick. Like, Tony, gone. Just, like, in a millisecond. Like, it took them 3 seconds. And I was actually on the site when it happened, because I saw that. I'm like, okay, how long will it take for that? And I had the site open, refresh, and all of his videos are just gone. Whatever. Keep going. Gamer from Mars, they're what about the video? Just sort of kind of the response to that. The response to that was mixed to negative, to put it lightly. Everyone was saying the forums only have until June, and then even more producers left. The Last Angry Geek, who was another big one, he left. Let's see. Also, if I misspoke, I don't know if Battle Geek Plus is still around. That's the one I'm kind of still unsure about, because I got like him and Last Angry Geek confused. They might have both left. Like, if you guys can let me know that would be fine. Let's see. I should probably catch up on chat. It's been a while. Everyone I know / like on channel Awesome Doug doesn't count, since I'm on the fence about him right now, is gone. Yeah, everyone is gone. Bennett is with CA. Okay, a lot of the producers do have, like, their own channels. Right now, like, they all pretty much have their own separate channels ever since Blip kind of crashed and burned, and they needed a new place to host their reviews. And YouTube was the only place you could really do that. So all of them have YouTube channels. That's why I said before, if you want to support them, support them. Like, this is the best time to do so, and this is when they're really going to need it. But yeah, they're gone off Channel Awesome. They're not gone there, like, from their other stuff. Some of them, I didn't know why they stuck around. Like, Chris Stuckman and Angry Joe were the big ones, and those were the big ones for the chat. Chris Stuckman, I'm actually really surprised left as quickly as he did. I mean, considering how bad the allegations were, I can understand why he left. I'm just surprised that he actually saw the document and then just looked and said, yes, this is my reason for leaving. Some of them just left because they felt it was their time and they kind of just wanted to get out beforehand. Just sort of with everything going on, this is kind of like the time to do so. But yeah, Stuckman, I think, specified that, yeah, this was because of everything that happened. They were predicting who was going to leave next, and the predictions were way off on who was going to leave when, at what times, like who was going first and then last. And this continued on. They were talking about this for they were talking about this for like since 1, so they were talking about it for an hour constantly. And then Diamanda Hagen officially said that, you know, the anniversary specials just outright canceled. And everyone kind of assumed that, but this was the first time we had, like, actual confirmation. And then, you know, Tony, and I think, actually, no, Erod hasn't said anything because he doesn't talk on social media. It was Tony, Mars Girl, I want to say Lupa retweeted it. But this was like the actual confirmation that this wasn't happening, despite all the money they sunk into it. And this was apparently supposed to be a huge crossover. Like, this was going to be like one of their biggest ones yet. And because they hadn't done one since the Uncanny Valley, and even then, those were a bunch of shorts. So they really hadn't done one since To Boldly Flee, and this was supposed to be their other big one that Doug and Rob had wrote the script for again, etc., etc. But then it just kind of fell flat in its face. Even more stuff. Like, this is about the fan document from Allison herself. She only attached the link. She didn't, like, I don't think she created it or allowed it to be edited. I don't know who did that, and I'm not going to speculate who. Because they didn't, like, anticipate the response, the whole let it burn thing was going to happen. Here they are, like, the new producers that are there. Angry Joe already said his piece. Erod, no one's sure about. Bennett, no one's sure about. Maven, no one knows why, because everyone else that she's worked with, friends and coworkers from Channel Awesome, have all... Friends, I think husband and coworker all just left. And this was cast like months ago. Here's the announcement from Erod himself. And this goes on for another, like, additional 3 pages. Here they're talking about the actual subscriber loss count as of 3 o'clock. Brad Jones had already said his piece. This is all speculation. I'm not going to believe, like, a word of this about something going down at the convention. That's... I don't know. I wasn't there. It happened near me, but I wasn't there. But maybe something did go down. Maybe something did happen after the panels. I have no clue. This is now Sean Cronenfeld. Sorry, I couldn't get their name right. It was Sean K. They also left shortly after. Brad was asked about it, and they said, "You're not my Jiminy Cricket," which is assumed that, he doesn't want people pestering him about it, because no one has the right to say whether he should leave or not, or try to guilt trip him into it. That's his decision. Jerk also left after he kept debating on this for, like, days and days and days. Yeah, actually, Lieutenant Havoc said it best here about what's sort of been happening. Even Linkara said it at the time again, not to harass people still on the side and not to be asked about it, but it's gotten out of control now. I was weary when this was brought up. It's a mess. It's a dumpster fire. Yeah. Like, all these people are, completely right. I think the next page was them talking about, like, the whole ostrich metaphor. Tunij, or Ianij, I don't know how to say his name. He left very soon after. These are all coming, like, keep in mind, this all started around 12. So 5 hours in, and already all these people had said, no, we're leaving now. Especially after the convention and after what's, been said by the official Chicago crew and from the Twitter announcement. Sean was one of the former editors of Blister Thumbs, so you might know him from there better than you did on Channel Awesome. Seriously, though, talking about... Oh, wow, this is way back. On a personal friend of mine, Guru Larry confirmed he won't leave. He said the channel will be dying and doesn't feel like it's worth his time. Yeah, that was the other one I was thinking of. Guru Larry, was about the whole political opinion sort of thing. That's on him. If he wants to stay, that's fine. I think he recognizes that at this point, he's just going to continue to do his own thing. I wish him luck with that. That's all I'll say. People were asking, wasn't Spoonie fired? No, he wasn't fired. He was suspended for a bit, and then they said, you can't continue to talk like this or say anything like this, and we're going to restrict you on Twitter. And he basically said, it was the equivalent of, you can't fire me, I quit. So he actually quit and left the site before they had a chance to fire him. Which, considering everything, that was probably going to happen anyways. Let's be real. What's the number now? It was slightly over 1 million when I unsubscribed yesterday. I actually don't know. I haven't checked it since early this morning. For all I know, it could be under 1 million, or it could be... The more reasonable number is, like, 1,039,000? It could be higher. It could be a bit higher. His videos are still on the site. Yeah, I don't know why those are still on the site. Everyone else was taken down rather quickly. We should contact his wife on Facebook to warn her about him. No, don't do that. Like, please don't. Like, don't contact anyone. They can handle it themselves. Like, don't get involved. Like, stop getting involved for those who are, you know, like, still in the fence or have, like, wife, people who work there, friends or coworkers. Stay out of it. Please. I know you probably have good intentions, but I'm sure they're probably getting enough of it by people, you know, who don't know this by now, or they're, you know, they want to make the decision on their own. Angry Joe, yeah, that was the panel. He talked about doing a review with Doug for Justice League. He pronounces it Ilnej. Okay. Thank you, Classic Luigi fan. I think Doug and Rob have a lot of money sitting in the bank, and they should buy out Channel House and Nostalgia Critic IP. After that, they should fire McCod. Or I'm falling back into that again. Michaud. It's actually Michaud. It's so late over here, I wanted to say more. We'll listen until if I do fall asleep, hugs. Thank you, Henrik. Channel Awesome has dropped to the 54,000 mark. They've lost like 30,000. They will still need a lawyer. The uppercase size needs to have a serif. That's talking about Ilnij's name. Yes, please leave Justin's wife alone. Really think she wants no part in all of this. Wait, are you talking about like Justin Carmichael's wife? Because if so, doubly so, don't get involved in it at all. Please. Did Linkar talk about the rape scene in To Boldly Flee? That was way back at mid-March that a lot of this was discussed publicly on the Twitters, or on the Twitter feeds. My bad, not the Twitters. I'm going to be on the Twitters with the branches and Tweety birds. No, that was that was all discussed back then before the document came out. According to Holly Brown, it's pronounced Michaud. This pronunciation is gonna like haunt me. Michaud, Michaud, Michaud. I don't know at this point. I'm just gonna call him whatever I want. Has there been any news from the video makers from Channel Awesome about it? Loads. A lot of them have made videos on the subject about their own time at Channel Awesome. Literally just search Channel Awesome. It's some of the first ones that come up. I know Gamer from Mars videos is the first one that come up. I think the first result as of now. But like scroll down below, like Channel Awesome's channel is like not at the top of listings anymore. If you search that, it's everyone else talking about their own experiences with it. I know Mars Girl did a stream. She did a fun little ballad video. That was a parody of the Hamilton musical. So that was something. Count Dracula video this morning about, yeah, he did. I wish all you guys were here for last night's stream. It was so nice and pleasant, just a nice chill stream. It was. Again, it was a combination of reading all this stuff, everything that was compounding it beforehand, like with the change the channel stuff that's been on the channel since, and like how it's been like affecting my channel, what I want to do with my content going forward. That was why I made the other stream. And basically like outside stuff from stuff that was outside of YouTube and outside of the channel awesome forums and the document. At this point, I just kind of just want to ignore the whole thing. If I'm being brutally honest, I'm gonna move this down so so we're not just like looking at the same screen again. I just wanted this to be over and done with. I just want to move on. That's not anything new, but how exactly did Doug script this time? If you weren't here earlier, someone asked at the convention, the Empire State Comic-Con panel, that everyone thought was canceled. Everyone kept telling me that. I just assumed it was still like the same as it was before, but a fan walked up to him, asked him to address the document, and he essentially ignored it, played it off, and then talked about how, you know, great his boss, Mike, was. It wasn't pretty. And the video, I hope, should be up soon. Like, again, anyone who was there who has video of it, who like is discussing this or whatever, if you know it, like, link me either in the stream or after the stream of the actual clip itself. People said they like videotaped the panel, which I know you're not supposed to do, but in this case, I think like that, I don't know, but someone probably did it. But there's gonna be like people filming at any convention. That's just like gonna happen. But if anyone can like find that clip in particular, just let me know. The channel awesome subscriber rate is currently at 54. Okay, so it hasn't changed drastically. I understand completely you don't want to be known as a channel that got big for piggybacking off of something like this. I really do hope you find your niche. Yeah, well, considering everything that's happened and considering how many had like talked about this and how many like saw my video in comparison to others and now are latching onto me as like a point of reference for everything that's going on, I don't think I will escape that for a very long time, and I'm sure it's gonna come back to bite me in the ass in some way. Even though for the most part, like, I have no grievances. I've been like, for the most part, honest. No, not for the most part. I have been like brutally honest with you about a lot of stuff. The beginning of the stream showed you that. I'm very open about what my plans for the channel are now. I don't plan on ever changing that. Even if like I were to find my niche and figure out what the channel is, I still would be I would be open about anything moving forward, about my opinions, my thoughts. I'm not someone to hide it. I'm not someone to like try like I'm not, I don't know. We're getting way off subject on this. I'm sorry. This was, we're supposed to be talking about the forums, and I got way out of, like, okay. They're talking about page 58 of the forums. People are still waiting and hoping that Tuesday or Wednesday next week they'll maybe make a video in lieu of a Nostalgia Critic video talking about this. People are like saying, yeah, this is kind of, you know, pie in the sky thinking. This is kind of stupid. And like, read this for yourself. If this is still, as of recording this, the forums are still up, but I don't know in the future, like say a month's time down the line, if you can read this. So just letting you all know this in advance. They also said Brendan Tinold was one of the other seniors on there, and then he also said, they don't have me anymore as of today. Some of my friends online, like Ellie Stone, aka the Hero of Tomorrow, was thinking of joining Channel Awesome, but since the news, he changed his mind and was sad about it. He felt betrayed. Yeah. So basically, Doug tried to cut a face promo for McCott and for Mike, and inadvertently turned heel while doing it. Talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face. I've never heard that expression before. I didn't. Yeah. To think we considered it a mass exodus back in 2015. That's something that rings true. Like, if you're watching these series of streams and videos, God bless you for doing that, because, like, you went through almost 10 hours. You went through almost like a whole day's worth of content, first off. But if you're still here, you're still civil about it, you understand everything that's happened, and you just compare it from then to now, from the original Change the Channel video to this one, this update stream, it's like night and day. I thought it was a mass exodus, and I thought they could change back then. This one, I just got completely just angry. Like, I just yelled earlier. I just needed to vent. And it was just, it's not a good time. Sounds mostly familiar. About the deletion, remove any mention of him. Oh, this was back at Sephora with the wiki. Sephora I can actually vouch for, because they actually did provide earlier in the forums talk of that. Again, it's gonna be like loud because stuff's happening outside of the hallways in my dorm. I have to like make that known every stream, even if people already know. They were talking about like deletion, remove any mention of them on the wiki. They just have to do that because, I mean, it's their wiki. And yeah, if you check it right now, it's kind of barren compared to how it was. Do you think a good part of Channel Awesome's / that guy with the glasses success came from Doug becoming so popular? Yeah, I would say majority of it did, especially since his face was, plastered on the site, and like everyone was trying to follow in Doug's style. Um, Again, in the Fallen Titans series that I was watching from Quentin Reviews, he actually goes more in depth into this. What he said was that, was it him? There are so many videos about it now that I'm getting many of them confused, but I believe it was Quentin that said something to the effect of they were all trying to piggyback off of, they were all trying to create their style of show while also being under the gigantic influence that was Doug Walker. Eventually, they did branch out and tried to make different styles of content later on and became their own things, but they would always started off like having this sort of style in comparison to Doug Walker. So yeah, to answer your question, yes. Wendy Weiss. Oh, it's Wendy again. Um, yeah, I'm streaming again. I've been streaming for a while. This has just sort of been an ongoing thing. I We're already way too far deep into the stream. Just watch the beginning afterwards, even though I get really pissed, and you'll just sort of be up to date on everything that's happened. Not a good time, to say the least. By the way, I may be interviewing Holly or KST1. Nice. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy that you're getting more, like, you're talking more in depth with, like, the people who actually wrote on the document. Nice. Yeah. Where were we? Once he was fired, he ordered me and the rest of the wiki to remove him via deletion. Any mention of him. And here's the big one. Even though, again, I said earlier I don't agree with Lindsay on a lot of things I will agree with her most definitely on this. Um, because pretty much her sentiments about this ring true for me. Like, as a fan, as like a content creator as of now, even though I'm relatively young, just as a content creator and someone who actually produces this, and just seeing, like, putting myself in their shoes. Um, John Snyder, J-Man, the clip is on his Twitter. Okay, thank you. I will make sure to check that out after the stream and link that into the description below. Thank you very much, Buttons and Rubbish. And you know what? I will do a live reading of this because Alice does deserve to have, like, all of this deserves to be just read in its entirety, just to give you a scope of what's happened. And really give you an idea of where the headset is now, with the majority of people who had originally, like, started and wanted to talk about the change the channel movement, quote unquote. Yeah. So I'm having a bit of an odd emotional day, as for those of you following the channel Awesome Drama know, the site is hemorrhaging content creators, and today has been the biggest mass exodus yet. Ain't that the truth? It's a little heartbreaking to watch because the common thread across the board was a desire to see the grievances addressed in a meaningful way, or at least for these content creators' concerns to be addressed in private. I've seen at least a dozen people mention their concerns being ignored when brought up to Channel Awesome management, and on top of that, their truly piss-poor parody of an apology has moved their hand, and they can no longer stand by them. And this, as documented extensively, is how they operate. They won't change the way they deal with people. The lesson that seems to have been taken is less maybe we should examine how we got here, so much as clearly producers outside of Chicago were a bad idea. And the worst part is that it did not need to come to this. The way this has spiraled is pretty much a direct result of the attention that came from their truly abysmal "I'm sorry you felt that way" apology. I can't imagine that they could have handled this more poorly. So this is not to say that I regret that the document exists or that people came forward, but I am upset at how it's hurting people. None of us thought this would snowball the way it did, and it is really sad to see people being really hurt and disillusioned by the fallout. And to be clear, the onus for this pain is entirely on Channel Awesome. It was their decision to respond to the controversy the way they did. It was their decision to ignore and disrespect the producers and the fans that stuck by them and believed in them. And I am not surprised that they made the public response that they did, and that they're treating producers the way they are. Nothing has changed. It continues to cause harm, and they do not see why this is a problem. But I am sad for the people who are leaving so disillusioned. And what she means by disillusioned is that, like, everyone who thought Channel Awesome was this thing that could really do no wrong, or when it did do wrong, it was improving in ways, both from a producer perspective, from those who didn't know the Chicago crew, and from fans who've watched them. It's basically just her saying they open up their eyes to what's happened. Channel Awesome especially did that with their apology. Let's see. Now that Nash has said his piece on the Channel Awesome business, let me say a couple of things. I never met Channel Awesome upper management. I met Doug once in a Skype during a live WTF IWWY and once at a con for 2 minutes. He was pleasant enough, but that's the extent of my experiences. Number two, I've been doing WTF IWWY with Nash since, I think, about a year before Channel Awesome picked them up. He's only ever been accommodating, good-hearted, and decent. He's bought me better equipment to improve the show when necessary and helped me financially when I was strapped. This is the weird, like, sort of conundrum I'm having with Doug on there. Less so Rob, but also to an extent, basically the Walker brothers in general, is that they do seem to have somewhat of a good heart in, like, in how they've, like, talked with creators who have been around and who are prominent there, but at the same time, they also have absolutely no clue what's going on their own site and on their YouTube channel, which at this point I wouldn't even be surprised if Doug or Rob doesn't run the YouTube channel. But like they just seem so out of it and so oblivious to what's happening. Who knows? Maybe after the convention, once Doug heads back to Illinois, and actually talks with them, maybe there's going to be some like behind the scenes meetings. I don't know. I especially don't know what's going to happen now that Malcolm, Tamara, and Jim have said their pieces, and now all of this has come to light, and now all of this has happened. Because they've also sort of acknowledged that this is happening, and it still actually is continuing to happen, even despite what was said, and they still have to revise their, words on it. And I don't wish any ill will on the actual workers with the Walker brothers. Because as far as I'm concerned, as far as the rest of the producers were concerned, they're completely innocent in all of this. By the end of the week, only this may be left, and it's a picture of a tumbleweed. Ask Lovecraft just left, yeah. They both left. So now we're getting into the more recent stuff. Now it's getting into, like, what's happening as of this past hour. There was the largest around 75 producers, including Blistered Thumbs. But not surprised they left. Lehman was on the verge of quitting, wanted to hear what they had to say, and clearly didn't get any reassurance of them staying. And honestly, Brandon hasn't been posting in the last couple of weeks, despite making videos, so I can understand him leaving. Again, they were never my favorite producers. I probably should make a list of my full thoughts of the people who left at some point. This is what Neil Ultramike had to say. But I wish them well. Honestly, more Ask Lovecraft, as Brandon seems to be doing a lot better for himself than Ask Lovecraft is. And there were over 100 people at that point. And that included Team 4-Star and all the Game Hero stuff, according to this. Team 4-Star, I think, originally was also partnered with, like, Channel Awesome, Blistered Thumb, sort of that, when they were in their, like, very early days. After they branched off and became their own company, Team 4-Star, which is, for the most part, just run by, I think, the 4 of them, or 5 of them, or the crew there that just mainly works on DBZ. They haven't added any other people. It's just that main crew. And even they left. They left way back. They left, like, half the time. Like, they left 5 to 6 years ago. So they had no idea this stuff was even happening. I don't even think Masako knew despite being on the site. I especially don't think that. Leon Thomas, who wrote the Daily said there will be more on there. I don't know if the Instagram thing is true or not. I don't think it is. I think that's a fake account. But if he did, he responded to someone unsubscribing from the channel with a like or on there, but I don't believe that's him. Team 4-Star was a part of it, random commenter, way back, like, when they were first starting out, and, like, they got picked up on the site very briefly. They knew of part of it, and they did address it, like, when it came up, especially, I don't remember if Masako did, but, Scott Fyrikes, I think that's how you say his name, Scott from Team 4-Star, I know of him, and I know his voice. I just can't say his, like, real name. When he saw this, he was even like, wait, this is still happening, and it's even worse than it when we found it. So yeah, again, they're really kind of, they don't know about this. They've been completely detached from Channel Awesome for years. Channel Awesome is more like TNA before they got bought out and became Impact Wrestling. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of, like, wrestling and Vince McMahon and, or McMahon, whatever, analogies. I'd say that's a fair comparison. Remember that time TFS and Doug reviewed Dragon Ball Evolution? They used costumes for Spirit Halloween. Yeah, yeah, that was fairly recent. I went and checked the link. Which link are you talking about, Joey Avilon? Um, you say it is BS, but it's safe for work. If you're talking about the Instagram post, I know it's safe for work. It's just him, like, liking a post that was, unsubscribing from Channel Awesome. Um, but if you're, but like, I don't know if that's real. So if you're saying, yeah, it is BS, but it's safe for work, I know it's safe for work. I just didn't know if the account was real or not. Probably is. That's where my "We Are Not Amused" comment comes from. The bear is all I could think of to make a not amused face. Oh wait, Arcanubis is you, T Scream? I actually didn't know that. Yeah, the Instagram, it's a gravestone with words about Channel Awesome, basically, but it's not a real account to Channel Awesome. That's what I thought. Um, yeah, that's. I kind of figured that was the case. So for now, I'm just gonna go back to the original transition image showing this and just kind of let everyone have a breather for a second. Will I just check on Twitter, Channel Awesome itself, see what exactly has been happening. Ever since then. Did anyone else leave? As of now, no, not that I'm aware of. He only killed off the NC, not the other producers, but it was the original death of the character that created the original fall off after To Boldly Flee. Well, here's the thing. The way it was written was that the nostalgia critic was being killed off, but he also wrote it as in, like, the other producers would follow suit, sort of as a grand send off to the website, even though they were still making content. And I don't think Doug was aware of, or realized rather, um, how, like, how badly that would affect the other creators when they killed off their flagship mascot sort of person, that the thing that was the face of their site for years. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Never has that spoken, like, true words. Truer words, sorry. Again, I'm just, like, looking around to see if there's any updates on the situation at all. Because knowing me, there probably is. Like, as here's, like, to give you an example, this stuff has been happening so quick that if you go back and watch the original, like, the like, full version of the Not So Awesome document reading, which the timestamps are coming, by the way. I know I keep saying that, but they are coming. You'll see that as it happened, I actually went through the Twitter document as it was live. I've never been able to catch that, like, live before. I've never, seen that happen. So if he leaves, he can't do his main show anymore. Exactly. again, all right, just to catch you all up to speed, on that front, Mike Michaud, um, owns the Nostalgia Critic IP and holds a majority stake, if not the entirety, of Channel Awesome itself as a brand and as an intellectual property. If Doug and Rob were to quit and, like, just outright leave the company, they can no longer do the Nostalgia Critic or anything, representing the Nostalgia Critic in any way, shape, or form. And that's kind of why it now makes what happened with Demo Reel a lot more understandable, and many people are sharing the same sentiment. Come for what he really is, Mike Michaud. There was an announcement about it on like Linkara, yeah. The humanity, Doug, while all of the producers left just roll their eyes. No, actually, Doug is not really. He's again, he's like playing the whole like ostrich thing, that analogy that the people on the forums kept bringing up, where he's talking about how great everything has been going with like his boss and that, but when it comes to the other producers, kind of just been staying completely silent on. Zip, throw away the key. What kind of copyright thing did Doug sign? According to what's been said in the document, and according to what's been said in the other Twitter accounts so far, was that when the Nostalgia Critic first started, Doug and Rob, Mike Michaud, whatever, Mike Ellis, and Bargov, I don't remember his last name. He was Mati. They all got together to like make the whole Channel Awesome thing happen, make the whole Nostalgia Critic thing happen. What they wanted to happen was have Mike and the other two pretty much handle the business side of things while Doug and Rob worked on the actual creative side of things. They just wanted him to take care of it and nothing else, which in and of itself, back in around 2007 and 2008, when this was still a relatively new thing, I wouldn't blame them for doing that. If I was in their position, I would probably want someone to take care of the business stuff too. Nowadays, no. Like, I've said I wanted this to stay independent. But after like a certain amount of time, then Mike Ellis embezzled from the company and he was fired. So that's one of the person who left gone. I don't know if he still holds stake in the company. And then Mati, I don't think he's a part of it anymore either, when he also holds stake. So really, the only person that's left from the original team is Michaud, is just Mike himself. They originally brought on Holly for human resources, but that was so much of a convoluted mess that like they couldn't really exactly do anything. Like she couldn't really do anything, and she eventually just ended up leaving because it was such like a sinking ship, at least in like her eyes. But this was also happened like long before any of this also came out. But will Michaud be able to use the Nostalgia Critic if Doug leaves? Is he going to be able to hire a different Nostalgia Critic and still get those views he desires? I mean, he is within his legal right. If Doug and Rob were to leave, he could, in theory, find a new Nostalgia Critic and try and make something with that. But the problem is that the Nostalgia Critic, in and of itself, is so tied with Doug himself and is so recognizable as Doug's character that it wouldn't really work. You could try and find someone with the same kind of like energy as Doug, or the same sort of way he presents himself as Doug, but it's never going to be the same. It's not. It's the Nostalgia Critic, but it's not the Nostalgia Critic. At this point, the Woody Woodpecker review seems to be the final Nostalgia Critic episode. I would not say that, like, at all. Doug seems to still want to do the Nostalgia Critic. That's That was like the first and foremost thing. Again, it makes the demo thing kind of make sense. They tried and they failed, so now he kind of has to. He, I think he had to compromise with that because the Clippers reviews were for YouTube, but it also feels like that was just trying to, make the demo reel idea work and sort of like take people off, like sort of like wean people into the idea of, um, changing up the actual critic format himself. So maybe he could. I don't know. This is all completely baseless speculation on my part. Just based on what we've been given, but yeah, he definitely knows Nostalgia Critic. Like that's his character. He would be probably like lost without the NC at this point. Let's see. I hate to say it, but I don't really think the Nostalgia Critic is popular enough that someone would want to take over that role. Um, I mean that depends. We've saw the views on the Woody Woodpecker video, but after everything and after all the producers that left and like they all just came out and just said like nothing. The Woody Woodpecker review isn't a good indication. If Doug were to make another Nostalgia Critic review, that would be a better indicator of what's been happening, since now a ton more stuff has happened since then. Plus, he played a character that acted like Nostalgia Critic, then legally he could be in trouble based on how vague the agreement was. The agreement is pretty much like I don't know. The agreement is like he owns the Nostalgia Critic. The problem is, again, is that the Nostalgia Critic kind of is in a way another like faction of Doug. Like it's into Boldly Flee. Like they, despite how overzealous and how just like completely like egotistical that was, there was a point that Doug was trying to make in how like he the writer, aka him himself, Doug, and how the Nostalgia Critic, the critic, are interconnected. It was the same when the review Must Go On came out, because they met again and they were like, okay, here's what you're gonna do. I'm going to write you this way. You're just like a character. That was the whole basis of that entire movie. So yeah, technically, I guess you could say Mike owns Doug, part of Doug's character, in a sense. I don't know. The agreement is just so out there that I have no idea, like, what would even facilitate that now. I don't know. Um, Doug may have to do just Chester A. Bum, Video Game Confessions, and Dominic and Sibling Rivalry. Okay. The problem with doing Chester A. Bum is that as a character, it could work, but the entire shtick kind of got old fast. That's also why he stopped doing Chester A. Bum reviews and instead incorporated him as a character in the newer reviews and actually gave him like the Bum a backstory and a love interest to still have the character but not do the Bum reviews. Even though people liked it, the shtick would get old fast. Video Game Confessions has not been a thing for a while. It was. I know what Video Game Confessions with Dominic is, but he hasn't done that for so long that I don't even know if people would latch onto that as much as the critic. And Sibling Rivalry, that's what I can see him doing. Is if Doug like toned down him being like the like ragey sort of nostalgia critic bits in like Sibling Rivalry, the vlogs and all that, then I could see. Change! You got change! I wonder if Mike Michaud owning it since he owns Channel Awesome, if the company owns the rights, or he just owns the company. He just owns the company. That you can just tell it, because like Channel Awesome, I mean, he's the CEO pretty much. He's the chairman in the executive office. I think that's what that stands for. I That's how pathetic I am. I don't know what like CEO stands for. I just know he's he's the chair. Like he's the head executive chairman of operations. He's the head honcho in charge. Shows how stupid I am. I don't even know what a CEO is. Chief Executive Officer. It's officer. Officer. Okay. Mike Ellis was the COO, and Okay, yeah. Mike Ellis was originally the COO of the company. Mike Michaud is the CEO. Everyone else, like under him, there's like no chairman of directors, or there's no board of directors rather, to consult with to fire him. He's the CEO of a company, even though the company isn't exactly like functioning like a real company should. I genuinely love sibling rivalry, and I watch it whenever they post, but it's not very often. It's off the cuff, and Doug and Rob work off of each other. Exactly. That again, I could see that like purely because it'd be some type of interaction. It would be some sort of like connection back to the movies thing, back to like, because people did watch those. People loved the Adventure Time vlogs and the Steven Universe vlogs, the Avatar ones, the core ones. Otherwise, they wouldn't have. Well, they didn't keep doing them after a certain point because some of the shows were ongoing, like the Adventure Time vlogs with him and Jason, kind of just stopped because Adventure Time was going. There was the hiatuses too. There's a bunch of other stuff. That's also what would hurt them, is because they would have to go. They would have to try and like find like a show to talk about, but they also have to deal with the hiatuses, and that could kill anyone's interest. I know I said last stream it killed mine for Star Versus. I can only imagine what that would be like for like actual videos, and especially trying to sustain it without the critic being like sort of that, putting in giant quotes, filler for that type of content. I thought he said COO for some dumb reason. No, that's what he called himself. He called himself the COO. There is no such. That's the thing. There is no such thing as a COO. Is what I'm trying to get at. It's running like a company, but it's not really a company. It's run by people who think they know what a company is, but don't know what the hell they're doing. That's coming from someone who didn't know what the definition of a CEO was. I know there's no such thing as a COO. And if there is, there definitely was not one at Channel Awesome. He was their chief financial officer. Okay, yeah, well, there was no second. Okay, so yeah, I'm hearing it's the chief operating officer. He called himself that, but really there was no real second in command. Otherwise, there would have been someone there, like talking about and telling Michaud, this is what we should do. They could technically have that title, but for the most part, there was nobody like that. The closest that came there was Mike Ellis, but he took more care of finances than he did actually run the secondary side of the company. He was he was more of a CFO, this chief financial officer, than he was the COO. Is what I'm trying to get at. That's why I'm saying there was no COO there. Even if there was a thing, like it wouldn't happen. Apparently, it is, but there was no second in command. Yeah, a COO is a real thing, but when you said CEO, I heard COO, and it was is what I meant when you were saying you didn't know what CEO meant. Oh, okay. And I stupidly tried to call the CEO the chief operating officer. No, it's fine. It, I, I don't know. The entire corporate structure of Channel Awesome, just looking at it from Nothing else. Is just a mess, really. In the UK, the CEO is an electrician. Causes a bit of confusion sometimes. Okay, yeah. So Mike Michaud was basically the boss. Whenever I say CEO, because it's in the US, it's boss. It's just another term for the head, the big head honcho of the company. He's not the owner per se. Oh, well, no, he's the chief executive officer, but he's not the owner. There's like, I don't know, whatever it is. Mike Michaud and the rest of them did not have it. It's a house of cards, yeah. Haven't read the document since it first went up. Any more producer slash fan stories? I've not checked, but considering the long list of people that left and did say they were going to add to it, I wouldn't be surprised if I checked right now that there were. I'm on Twitter right now, and I could actually check the document if I pull it up. Also, another quick thing. The Brental Floss thing that I mentioned earlier, in an earlier stream, about him possibly being a pedophile due to the fan account on the fan document, do not believe that. I'm sorry that if I spread misinformation. Sorry. That was not my intent, and I don't honestly know what was. I know of one account that was real in that document that I can tell you for sure was, like, I can actually verify the truth of. Other than that, everything else is baseless speculation. As far as we know, until they like make a verified thing or until they speak out about it, no, those accusations likely are not true. I did say that in the stream, that those are all allegations from here on out from fans. But yeah. It doesn't mean he is or isn't. But according to the fan account that said he was, I don't know. It's messy. It's just don't believe anything in that document for right now until everything's sorted out. All right, let me open up the Google document and see if there's anything else added to it. So far, it still looks to be the same 69 pages long. Well, 68 and the conclusion page. There is an addition to the document, however, for the fan document section. And I'll actually pull it up right now. Hang on. Give me 1 second. I don't need the forum page anymore, so I can exit out of that. This is what the new fan document read. I already talked about this, but this is just for extra clarification. There is an update to the document here. In the interest of transparency, we have removed the link to the fan document. We would like all information we support to be verified. Due to the extra attention received, more stories are coming out, and we don't have any way of verifying fan submissions. Because of this, we cannot in good conscience continue to link to a living document. So they're going to check. This is what I was saying earlier. They're going to check all of them, see if they can find any verification or not, and if they can, I would assume they're staying up. If not, then they are just wiped off the document. They already wiped a few off of there that were already baseless, or were proven wrong by the actual producers themselves. That too. It might not have been updated. They may be sending their comments to Lupa and compiling it there. They could also be doing that. They could also be doing like private messaging to the people who are already in there, like the people who they like that they had in the document. They're just trying to make sure all the facts are straight on. Sephara Sephira's claim about the wiki, they are sticking by that story, and they have that for the most part I think is verified at this point, and they were, if not, then well, it's just on the wiki. Um, Everything else, don't believe yet. Just don't. Maybe Mike or some of the others may have wanted to run their own company from the beginning. Maybe. And all of you are celebrating the site's downfall. Shame on you. This is not a celebration. This is tragedy. Once again, the hubris of humans led to their ruin. Shame on you. Okay. The majority of people, for the most part, were originally very civil about this, and they didn't want to see it crash and burn. I made that clear in my video that I also did not want that. The original video, like the way back when this all started, like months, like close to a few 2 weeks ago, I want to say. As it got bigger, however, more and more people started to latch onto it, and now it's just a very now vocal minority. And I got very pissed at that at the beginning of the stream, and I've since calmed down. I've needed to vent. It's all been sorted out, but know that, like, there were people that were doing that, don't get me wrong, and yeah, shame on them for doing that. That's not helping things at all, and the fact that they're celebrating it is kind of, disgusting in a way, but yeah, it's the majority of people, from what I've seen, just in my own comment section, was fairly alright about it. Like, they were fairly clean. I love the content producers there, even Doug's videos, but the way Channel Awesome handled this, yes, people are offended. They spit in the face of these people, and it's getting people's emotions raised. That too. Tempers are kind of high right now, and they're especially high considering just a ton of people left today. This is the most volatile it's probably been since it began in mid-March. The content creators aren't irrelevant, but how many people even visit that site? I have no clue. I would assume a majority of them come for the nostalgia critic, as was the case originally with Channel Awesome / that guy with the glasses, but I don't know. I have no way of knowing for sure. That's just something I can hazard a guess to. What I want to see is the producers create their own company out of the ashes. I don't think any of them should really make a company at this point. Honest to God. Just, Wendy, like, I understand it. Like, maybe they should, like, just try and do something to create a new Channel Awesome. But at this point, there's not really a need for multi-channel networks anymore. There's not really a need for Channel Awesome anymore. Especially Channel Awesome and That Guy with the Glasses, because those came in around a time when YouTube was rife with that, and multi-channel networks were trying to stop, like, copyright claims from doing that, but they all had their own shady shit. Let's not kid ourselves. Maker, Polaris, Machinima, they all had their dirty laundry. And in the end, like, content producers have been able to, stand on their own for the longest time. Channel Awesome is kind of irrelevant at this point. The closest I can think of is them collaborating with other projects again, because that was something they, honest to God, enjoyed doing. Like, for something like the Atop the Fourth Wall movie. Even if you don't, again, I've been saying this God knows how many times, but I'm going to keep repeating it. Even despite that, they tried to make their own projects the antithesis of that. Regardless of what you think of the content creators themselves or what they've done in their past, like, that was, like, comparable or not comparable to this, whatever. The point is that they want to like move past some of the shortcomings that a lot of these other productions had. They want to be the antithesis for it. Than a union or an alliance or something. I don't think they really need a union. I think, for the most part, as of now, I don't know what they're going to do later, but as of now, I don't think they need to, try and make their own company. Because, like, little to none of them had any real business experience at the start, and some of them I don't think do, or they're already part of another network, quote unquote. Like Masako X is one of the producers for Channel Awesome that's still on there. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I forgot. I would think that was it. Masako X seems like a nice enough guy. I think he like they're talking about it like with Team Four Star, and that I don't think he'd do anything like that. But yeah, he's part of it, but he's also a part of Team Four Star. There's a difference between having a team together versus running a company like what Channel Awesome was. They needed contracts to make sure people were treated right because they were independent contractors, so they could disregard them more easily. Exactly. They that was the one like thing that's still constant that you can actually witness right now for all the people that are leaving. Um, all of them were technically not employees. They were hosted on there, but there were no contracts. And when they tried to have contracts put in place for them to, shut up and not talk about it, it was already too late. It was already like 6 years into all of this. Maybe even longer into all of this. Um, but yeah. The, I really don't know what else to say at this point. Ask Lovecraft is still listed on the site. Ask Lovecraft left. I don't know what a lot of them are still doing on the site right now. That's kind of the weird, like the odd one. A lot of them are still listed. Nash left. The Dom left. Horror Guru left. Um, Guru Larry's staying just because he's just gonna, you know, use it for what it's worth because it's dying, but he might as well, just make something out of it as it is. He already acknowledges that like a lot of this is fucked up. He's just gonna write it out. But yeah, a ton of them left. Brandon T left, but they're all still listed, and nobody has any idea why. And they've been listed for like longer than anybody else. Like going off the list that I'm seeing right now, um, Brandon T is gone off the movies and TV section. I don't know what Maven is doing. The comics and anime section remains unchanged, even though it's like two people. Um, Angry Joe is still staying. Bargain Boy, I'm not sure about. Sean K left. Yamar's, whatever. I think he's staying. Guru Larry's staying. Gaming Wildlife, I'm unsure about. Battle Geek Plus, I think, left. And Ask Lovecraft and Nash, and I believe Screen Crashers also left. So that would leave Blockbuster Buster, who's not said anything. Brad Jones, who is, if I could hazard to guess, on the fence about what it is. He acknowledges it, but he's not going to do anything as of right now. And again, don't bug him about it. Angry Joe, Tunes these days, Bargain Boy, Yamar's, I keep messing that up. Gaming Wildlife, Moscow X Sage, and I think that's it. I think Screen Crashers might still be there too, but yeah, that's how many that I just listed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 people that are left. Possibly 10. I just came in, so I apologize if this sounds abrupt, but can we all appreciate that the channel has currently lost 25,000 in just 7 days? This shows that people will put their foot down. Okay, if you mean appreciate in that this shows that, like, people are willing to make a stance on this to show that they're not going to take it, okay? If you're saying it in the fact that we should appreciate it because the channel is falling down at the seams, I've already said my piece on that at the beginning of the stream, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not happy if that's the stance you're taking. I don't think that's what you're saying. least I hope that's not what you're saying, because again, Brad should have left a while ago. I honestly associate him as his own entity at this point than a guy in Channel Awesome. Many of them I associate with them as their own entity. I'm subscribed to Sage, but I never ever really watched his stuff on Channel Awesome. I always watch Anime Abandoned through his channel, and I just associate him as a non-entity from there. I don't even know why. I don't even know why Angry Joe is still there. Angry Joe, like, will do crossovers with Doug, and that, as he said, he's already made his peace with that. He is staying. But I don't know his piece on everything else that's happened. There must be absolute carnage at the con, though. Like, if I were Doug, I'd be holed up in my hotel room. No, if there were carnage, it would be public and a lot more people be hearing about it. I think people that are just going, like, to go probably have... A majority of them probably haven't heard of this, if we're being honest with ourselves. We all have heard of it because we've kept up to date with it, and we've all, like, seen it on social media. But for those that, never saw this or just went to the panel just to go to the panel, like, I don't know what's happening over there. I'm not gonna try and speculate. Just, like, see where, like, say anything on it. What's to say here about Doug getting confronted at a con? No, he didn't get confronted. A fan asked him a question about change the channel in the document, and instead of, like, actually addressing it, he didn't address any of the complaints, and instead just said how much, like, he liked his boss, Michaud, whatever. So is this stream to say that Channel Awesome is dead? I don't know. I still have to go through the reading of the document. I'm still not sure if I want to do that. I wouldn't say it's dead. It's like hemorrhaging talent at, like, a mass speed, but as long as there's still producers there that are on the site that are willing to, work with Doug and are okay with everything that's happened, I mean, more power to them. Most have already acknowledged that this is a problem and an issue, but, they're just, like, gonna move past that in a sense. Again, that's on them. If they want to do that, that's fine. I'm not gonna say whether that's right or wrong for them to do, because at this point, yeah, everyone's just sort of left. It's still gonna exist. Channel Awesome is still gonna be a thing until it just becomes the Nostalgia Critic, and even then, yeah. The forums, I don't know about. The forums will stay up for as long as there's other talent. After that, though, I have no clue. It's been interesting to hear the commentary from established YouTubers outside the site. Yeah, if anything, it's been interesting to hear about. It's been an exhausting read, but what are you gonna do? No, the forums will definitely go if the site goes, because that's they have to pay money for that upkeep, and if it's just gonna be Nostalgia Critic, and that's it, like, if it ever comes to that, then yeah, they're just gonna, destroy the forums, because why keep up the whole Channel Awesome thing? Why keep up the moniker about it when, like, there's nothing there? Like, why keep that up? Folks may not unsub, but the web traffic will never recover. Exactly. I mean, especially with this, like, the subs. Okay, the subs on the main channel on YouTube, yeah, they're falling now, but at some point they're probably gonna pick up again. It's happened with the Fine Brothers. It happened with everything. Who knows? This might be a special case. I don't think so, but regardless, Like, I think that will at least have some chance of picking up in the in the future. Right now, not so much. Um, but as for the site, I mean, they just lost a heavy chunk of people, whether they realize that or not. The Fine Brothers actually apologized, though. That too. I won't say anything on their actual apology itself, but they did apologize and did say that they were sorry. I can at least give them that over Channel Awesome. They'll shut down the forums to stop people talking about this if they have to. If that was the case, they would have shut them down, like, when this started getting big, like, a week ago. Not even. When this started to, like, actually... Back when it was 30 pages, they would have stopped it right then and there. I really don't think they care about the forums necessarily. They have moderators there to do that for them. But aside from that, unless they, like, ask people on the forums who are associated with other parts of the channel awesome, like the wiki, to do something, they don't usually go there. Or unless something gets really out of hand. This is way bigger than the John Turner Fine Brothers drama, though, and a lot more people are involved. That's true. But a lot of people were originally going to be involved with, like, the reacting for the Fine Brothers, React World. Like, that was a huge thing, a huge culmination, and, like, there was also, like, the PewDiePie show that had a lot of, like, the Scare PewDiePie thing before all that stuff happened. They had a lot of employees and people there, and even that fell through. They also had a lot of people working on there. Granted, none of them had all this come to light, but I still think that's just the way it goes. Like, everyone was talking about net neutrality, and it, like, affected everybody, and that was a huge thing. And then, like, as it sort of teetered off, and, like, the main goal or whatever was complete, it just sort of died out. The only things I've not seen, you know, actually, like, die out necessarily are things that are still, like, ongoing problems. Like, the whole stuff with, like, John Kay and the Harvey Weinstein stuff especially, and all of the sexual harassment allegations and actual confirmations of harassment that have come out, like, over the past, I want to say, like, late 2017 or so. That's still ongoing. It's stuff like that where it's just, like, a constant stream of information and people coming out about it. That would work. Channel Awesome is kind of like that, in that there's people now about to come forward, but once it all stops, it's gonna, you know, it's just gonna fall off, and there's not gonna be anyone talking about it. And I think for the most part, just a heads up, unless something else, like, really big happens, because they still haven't changed, like, the show banner or whatever, I think I'm going to call the stream. You know, just, like, because there's not really much else to talk about. Unless you guys have any more info. I mean, I could, you know what? I could try and find that, Twitter video and the actual clip and show that to you, because I've been talking about it and all that, but I haven't actually showed the, you know, actual evidence to that. Wendy, so I heard back from Chaos D1. Good night, Michael Anderson. My interview with him will be going forward. That's good to hear, Wendy. Wendy. I'm glad you were able to get the interview, you know, set up so that you can talk about this. I do remember you interacting with him back and forth on the live stream a lot, so that's good to hear. There's more people talking about this. Okay, let's actually try and find this, find the video of Doug in here. It was someone on Twitter. It was... Here, Doug Walker. I'll just search it up, like, actually on Doug Walker. Where's the video? Nope, this is only going as far back as April 2nd. Can someone repost the... can someone repost the video link, or the thing on Twitter that can, actually show the video itself? I retweeted for buttons. Okay. Oh, you're right. It was buttons and rubbish. That was it. All right. Buttons and rubbish. For any. Okay. Yeah. From Jalera White. Jalera White. It's only a 28-second clip. Where is it? And they kind of move their camera around a bit, and they're just sort of like talking and just discussing with them. Let me see. All right, now let me get the audio set up for this. I have to do like this weird thing because of how OBS works. Let's see. Whoop. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Let me just test something real quick. I'm going to turn the volume way down on this. Did any of you hear that? It probably was too low. Oh no, it was John Snyder, and then it was like retweeted by Jiller White. John Snyder at jman1995100. Miss Anthroponi, you missed a lot. I would just recommend re-listening to the stream. There's so much to go through at this point that I'm not gonna go back and go through everything. Just know a lot of producers left. There's been a lot of stuff happening with the change the channel thing that I'm not a fan of. I got pissed and angry, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, trust me, it's a lot. They said they're gonna have a subversion soon. It says, actually, let me just, why don't I just bring it up? There we go. Yeah, here's what it is. From John Snyder, he says, I'm still going to look at the footage I got on the GoPro, but in the meantime, this is the footage I managed to get from my phone. So he actually did have a GoPro, and he was, like, trying to, see what was going on. You can hear it on Doug's response, but, I've not watched this yet. It's hard to hear with people talking in the background. That's a problem with recording in a dealer's room. So I'm gonna try and listen because I have headphones on and try and decipher what he's saying. So maybe see if I can hear it. And let me know if you guys hear this or not. If I should turn down the volume. Should probably turn it to like here. People are saying they can't hear a thing. Okay, let me try that again. Whoop, wrong transition image. That was from last stream. Okay, that's a little strange. Wait, did I set it to input or did I set it to output? No, I set it to output. It should be coming through. No, it's not showing up for some reason. Good night, my beautiful prince. Good night, Alamdar. Okay, that's really strange. I don't know why the audio isn't happening. Or the audio isn't playing. This might go blank for a second. Okay, so the display capture is there. I recorded desktop audio earlier because it was able to like show up on the other stream. I don't know why it's not playing here. But at least you guys have like the link and the actual person to go to hear the tweet yourself. If I can't get this, working. So. Ba, ba, ba. Just, can you guys hear me now? Like, can you hear me still? Like, just give me like a thumbs up or thumbs down or a yes or no in the chat. Okay, yes. Guess the output is here. There's no selected output controls. That should not be happening. Let me go to the audio MIDI setup. Again, I thought I had worked this out in the stream. Correction, built-in output. I can't hear. Oh, so wait, you. Hang on. It's a creepy joke, but it's not like he said in seriousness. He wasn't joking. I don't know if I can handle Doug's response at a personal level. I'm so pissed off. Depends on who you ask. Best case, Doug was dismissive and complacent of the issues of Macabre. Worst case, he actively contributed to the poor work environment. Okay. Miss Anthroponi, did you say you could hear the... Were you able to hear the voices through stream, or were you able to hear them, like, through your own time? Like, in watching the video on your own, like, phone or laptop? Got a split. Good night, everyone. Good night, Grant Turner. Thank you for sticking around for so long. We're probably going to wrap up soon anyway. I just wanted to play this last one. Okay, let me see if this works. Oh. I think it should be playing now. Yeah, it's really hard to hear. He's gonna have a subversion soon and a better one that actually recorded it on the GoPro. And since I started that a little late, I'm just gonna just. Well, the beginning actually is just him like saying hi, like nice to meet you, blah blah blah, etc. I think you got the gist of it. Yeah, and the image was just like him holding his phone, so it's really wobbly footage. It didn't actually get anything directly of Doug. So once better footage and that comes out, once better audio comes out, I'm gonna post that. But for now, give a thank you to I showed him on stream, John Snyder on Twitter. Still don't hear the tweet. It might have been kind of low. All right, let me try and adjust the audio levels. Tell me if this is too loud or not. I'm sorry if this like hurts your ears. All right. One sec. And play it.
Just got a quick question. What's the response to the allegation?
One alley in a bad alley, and probably not a good neighborhood. And they're just looking at me like, protect us.
Okay.
I would love to patient I said about a short post. People would like something like that.
And it's a favorite story of me insulted James Gunn at the bar.
Oh, God.
Okay, people are saying it was a lot better there. And again, that's like really bad audio because there's people in the background talking. It's really loud, but they're saying they're gonna fix that. So yeah, people are talking about the Spoonie and Lupa drama again. Again, please keep it civil in the chats, please. I know everything that's happened. It's moral processing it, and we're just kind of talking about other subjects in relation to this to try and figure it out. But just remember, please, just keep it civil. He said, yeah, from what I could make out, he did say like I would love to talk about it right now, but I can't. I need to talk about it later. But like he loves like working with the producers and his boss and all of that. That was the most I can make out of it. That's why there's gonna be a sub version later on there. Honest to God, I hope it's not anything like really egregious that people are making it out to be. But just from people who were there, he did say he just didn't really respond. It's kind of what we expected. Can someone post a link in that video? I'm actually going to post a link in the description of this stream. In fact, why don't I actually just do that right now? He wants to talk about how awesome. Yeah, that's kind of what people got from it, and from the video, and from being there. Okay, so should be updated. That's the Twitter. That's the Twitter account that had the clip itself. If you refresh the stream. For those who didn't hear that. There you go. Oop. Sorry, I was just taking a screenshot of something for posterity reasons. Nothing about like the stream or anything. It's just let's see here. Yeah, that should be everything. I'm just like re-looking over everything, making sure I'm not forgetting anything, making sure there's no updates that are currently happening. And I'm just going to check the Channel Awesome forums last for all this, just to make absolutely positive. And then if that's it, and there's nothing else, then I'm just going to end the stream, because today's just been a kind of a rough tempered day in general. It's weird, because the rest of the day, like, the rest of the earlier today was just kind of nice, just kind of relaxing. Now it's just off the walls, just completely bonkers. Let me just also check. Yeah, the Twitter link is updated in the description. I see that my addition to the fan doc never got posted. Should I be happy about that? Chug it up. There's one by Katie Marie Dunn. Saying like I would continue to support my friend. Oh, there's someone by the name of Kitty Marie 92 on Twitter, also known as Katie Marie Dunn, saying, I can no longer support Channel Awesome as a company unless they shape the fuck up. If and when they do that, I will go back, but right now, I just can't. I will continue to support my friends on their individual YouTube and other channels, but I can't support the company anymore. They were just talking about this in the forums, and they're like, just discussing it. They're all just kind of taking it as it comes anyway. It's safe to say the age of the angry internet critic is over. Yeah, I would kind of assume so. Well, no, because the AVGN is still around. Irate Gamer said he was gonna try and make a comeback, but in terms of like just the nostalgia critic and those types of angry reviews, just from there, yeah, they're kind of done at this point. I would say that style of review really hasn't been around for a good long while. And the only one who really kept that trend going was the nostalgia critic. Okay, and I think with that, I'm just gonna end the stream. Sorry about the very aggressive beginning. I was not in a good mood. It's a garbage fire. It's been a long day. I hope for the rest of tonight that I can just forget about it and just talk with other people in other discords I'm in, or just talk with people, or just like just do some other stuff in real life. I don't know if I'm gonna cover the document if and when it gets updated. I really don't. I kind of just want this. In all honesty, I just want this to be the last time I ever talk about this, because I'm done. I'm not so much angry or pissed anymore. I'm just disappointed. And it kind of hit home just how big of a mess this was, and how much has just been lost over these past 5 days alone. But I've been worrying about that. I've now been worrying about my own content, and really, as of this point, how the entire movement has gone. It's just, I say movement, it's not really a movement, just the whole thing. How this all played out was not how I expected it to play out. It's not how I envisioned it played out. It's not how I wanted it to ever happen. I didn't want them to all like leave the site. I wanted to get better. I wanted it to get better, but yeah. Am I done with videos on Channel Awesome as well? In all honesty, probably. And as I said before, if you're subscribed to me just for... I said this in my other stream, that not a lot of people showed up to, but for those that did, thank you for showing up to it. If you're just here for the Channel Awesome stuff, now's probably the time where you get off. I may talk about it here and there, but don't expect any more Channel Awesome content from here on out, like, consistently. I might do more live streams just talking about the channel or talking about upcoming stuff that I want to do, but this has mentally drained me. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate it for all the channel growth it's given me, all of the people I've been able to meet, talk to. It's definitely been a ride. It's been a roller coaster, to say the least. And I thank you all for everything that's happened, and I know this is going to hurt my channel in the long run, but I just hope you stick around and see what I want to do next. Hopefully you didn't just hang in there because of the Channel Awesome stuff. And just do what you want to do, man. I'm sure your subscribers will understand. And any new subscribers can always check out your other content. Thank you, man. It's... I want to, like, make this clear, and this isn't just an isolated case with me. This is for, like, a lot of people, even, like, really small people that YouTubers that I watch. This has become some of their, like, if not their most highest viewed videos to date. This was such a big topic, and such, like, a culmination of everything that's happened. A culmination of everything that's wanted to be talked about. A culmination of, just, like, how, like, angry I was that this was happening at the beginning, and how it's just escalated from there. You're welcome. IG's for you earn my respect. Thank you, Miss Anthropony. I don't want to end the stream off on a bad note. Is there anything, like... I know this is not really something you can come back from, or just, like, you know... like, you can't, like, lighten the mood after everything that's happened. People were saying that before, but is there anything to, you know, just, like... You know... like, is there anything that we could do to just, you know... make things just kind of happier and just a nicer note to end off of than this? Because this is just a depressing end of the stream. I like your stylized sub. Thank you, Almighty Q. I hope you stick around for whatever happens next, even if it doesn't, like, gain as much traction as the Change the Channel stuff did. What do I hope will happen? In terms of my channel, or in terms of the Change the Channel stuff? If it's the latter, then I hope that they keep... like, they actually do improve, and they actually... I hope they do a turnaround, first off, and try and make the company better, but that's what I wanted at the start, and as we can see, that did not pan out at all. They instead blamed everyone else, and, you know, didn't... it just got worse and worse. You can't... all they needed to do was just say 2 words. That was all. Just apologize and say we're sorry, and they couldn't even do that. But if you're talking about the channel, I don't know what I hope for my channel. I hope, I think everyone hopes, like, I can maybe, you know, do something with it. I don't... this sounds selfish. I don't want to monetize any of the videos. I want to, you know, be able to make content on a consistent basis for the people here, for the subscribers that I have. I want to at least keep some momentum going, just keep a consistent audience. Because I know it's not going to reach anywhere near like the 40,000 people, the 40,000 plus people that watch the Channel Awesome stuff. But if I can even keep just a tiny, minute fraction of that, and people stick around and, actually like the channel for what it is, and, come to like me as a person and for my content, that would just mean the world. It's already meant the world to me, all the people who were saying they've subbed, like Zandy Pants and You Can Nuba 21. Like, you have no idea how much that means to me. You're a genuinely nice person. Just for that, I subbed. I'll try to support you in your endeavors after this. Thank you. I hope I can, keep that promise to you. I don't know what content you'll like, but I hope you'll like whatever comes up. Yeah, you have no idea, how, eternally grateful I am that just... Again, this has just been such a ride. Again, I can't keep saying this. Thank you all so much. If I want to end it on a happy note, it's to say this. Thank you to everyone who joined. Thank you to everyone who chatted. Thank you to everyone who came to the Where Do We Go From Here stream. And thank you just for being nice, cool people. People who I never thought I would ever, get a chance to discuss with. I never in my life imagined people like Wendy herself, Wendy Nerd Writes, that I mentioned in the other video. I never imagined Mars Girl. I never imagined Miss Anthropony. I never really imagined anyone coming to this and actually, liking my content and just liking me as a person. I thought I was just going to stick around as just this 30 subscribed YouTube channel, and that was that. And I would have been happy with that. I was happy with that. This has just blown me away. I'm actually, I'm about to, cry right now. And trust me, there's been some lows. I've heard people, talk a lot of shit about this, talk a lot of shit about the stream, about the people involved, about the people chatting, and there have been lows, but there have been just as many highs. And I never want to take any of you for granted. On a serious note, Swizzly, you're extremely passionate and your channel is only going to grow. I'm happily along for the ride. Stop, you guys are actually gonna make me cry. Thank you so much. You seem like a pretty legit YouTuber. I feel us YouTubers should be like a family. I'll give you a sub. Thank you all so much. And all this came from just me making a video late at night, just in an hour, talking about a multi-channel network thing that I used to watch 6 years ago. I didn't expect any of this. What got me into Homestuck? Yeah, let's actually... I do want to address that, because, I bet a lot of people are wondering why there's just random Homestuck videos on there. What got me into Homestuck was, Hiveswap, because I knew about it. I knew of it. I actually knew of it from a podcast that I listen to frequently, Let Me Tell You About, with Alex and Tad. It's a fantastic podcast, by the way. I don't usually even listen to podcasts. There's only two I really listen to. That one and Pizza Party Podcast. And they were talking about, it's their Homestuck videos, and they talked about Hiveswap, and I actually looked at Hiveswap and then looked at Homestuck, and I thought this might be something I was interested in, because I love point-and-click adventures, and even despite that, I knew how big Homestuck was back in its heyday and how good it was, and I knew Hiveswap was never going to be at that level, but I at least, I wanted to try it out for what it was, and for what Hiveswap was, just even in Act 1, even if there is, no acts following that, I loved it. I loved the characters, like the story. The music was just so good. Um, and then from there, I learned about Andrew Hussey, and I actually finally got around to reading Homestuck, 8,000 pages. I would not trade any of that for the world, even with its like not so good reception that the like Act 6 and onward had, but it was something else. And I decided, and again, told the story in the last stream. If you want to know more about like what got the actual videos out, the voice line ones, I go over that in the Where Do We Go Now edition live stream, the one I did right before this one. Thank you, Swizzy Bubbles, for your hard work this week. Thank you all so much. Fuck the camaradas. You've done good. You spread word in this horrid, deceitful garbage, and you seem like a really passionate person. Thank you. You seem like a great guy. So thank you all so much. Thank you. God. Oh my God, you like the Pizza Party podcast? Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, I love Rebel Taxi stuff. Rebel Taxi. Jesus. Pan stuff. Yeah, I'm a huge cartoon buff. Like, I eat that shit for breakfast. I love it to death. Love everything about cartoons. It's why I want to become why I'm going to college to be. Well, I'm in college right now. Why I'm like planning to be like working in animation when I get out of college. Yeah, Rebel Taxi's podcast is great. Love him. I remember Ken was originally on the podcast. I wish him luck for whatever he's doing there. Nolan's pretty good. He's a bit of a snark, but I like him. I especially love Jim on the podcast. It's also a nice guest podcast. Like, they've had, like, Siege Greenblatt. They've had the two they're working on, Long Gone Gulch. It's, yeah. The downfall of a massive corporate channel becomes the rise of smaller channels that deserve love. Thank you, random commenter. Really, like, I didn't expect, nor did I, like, even, like, think, like, yeah. Was that a hockey game with the dead phone? What I missed? You missed, like, everything Witty Banter. Especially on, like, stuff that happened with Doug. Just watch through the live stream. That's all I'm gonna say. It is, like, a 2.5-hour live stream, but, just watch through it. You'll get, like, a feel for everything that's happened. I always wanted to be a content creator since 2007. Never got around to it, sadly, other than live streams on my PS4. Hey, like, I've seen a lot of people really like PS4 live streams. If you want to do those, I would say do those. I kind of actually want to do those on my PS4 like, not right now, but sort of just stream, like, games in, like, high quality. I couldn't do Just Cause 3 because of the DRM stuff on there, but, like, I just started getting... I played Fortnite on, like, this computer right now while I'm actually building my own PC. And this Mac kind of, you know, it's a Mac. It kind of... Fortnite runs like garbage on it. But I linked my account to my PS4, played it today, and I already played it on the Xbox One and someone else's Xbox One or whatever, but I just, like... I love playing, like, it on the... like an actual controller on the PS4. It's nice. Rick Gamer come back. No, yep. I don't know, yeah, whatever. I don't know what's gonna come of that, but whatever. You got 242 subs in a day. That's gotta be worth something, Rise of the Underdog. Again, I did not expect that growth. I started off with, like, 30 subs. No lie. Over the past 5 days, it's grown to almost 330. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. It's more like 306 the last time I checked. The VR streams of mine get views. You have VR? I would definitely say do, like, more VR streams. Like, I really need to get into that. It's really expensive, but I've heard that, like, for the really good VR games, they're so good and they show off the technology well, and I kind of want to see that. Oh my god, but who doesn't love Jim? They've had Monkey Jones and Mars reviews. Yeah, both of those actually I've heard of them. By the way, speaking of like Monkey Jones, he just did a whole thing on like again, I keep plugging videos every stream, and I gotta stop doing that because I'm in like a habit of it, but I love these people so much and I've wanted to tell you guys, really, don't go sub to me, sub to these like more quality like people, even though they're already bigger than me. I don't care, watch their content, like actually sub to them. Monkey Jones, he just did one on the Pickle Rick guy, the Pickle Ree guy, I'm sorry, where he actually, it was found out to be like a satire video. Mars Reviews, definitely check out. Again, big guy in the cartoon community, well, community of sorts. Really genuine guy. He's sort of like where I took a bit of, more recently, he's been kind of the guy I'm looking to for inspiration and kind of doing like the videos that I plan to do going forward, where it's more like laid back, and more just off the cuff. Are you thinking of becoming a filmmaker? No, I plan to work in animation. I don't plan to work in like live action or film. If it ever comes to that, if I ever get a chance to do that, I might. I don't know. I'd have to see where it takes me, but yeah. I really admire the animation. Why does it keep doing this? I just read that. It keeps like blinking everything down for some reason. I really admire the animation industry. I'm a sad working stiff on the artistic street. If I ever had the chance, I'd love to be a talent agent. Nice. Keep working hard at that. And yeah, I could see being a talent agent. Check out Brian and Vinny dissecting the Silent Night Deadly Night Extreme Rules match the TNA put on in 2009 and trying not to laugh. They describe the idiocy on screen. Yeah, like, people are also like just talking about videos they check out. Check out like some of these. Okay, then take care, man. We hope you do feel better. Thank you, Cult Escapee. You deserve it. You're a great content creator. I'm really not. Like, half of my videos are just on the Channel Awesome thing. You guys even haven't really seen what my content is yet. I've made like the random shitpost video, and then I made like the Homestuck ones, and I made like a welcome to the channel vid that I kind of cringe at. I kind of cringe at a lot of the stuff that I do, but whatever. To everyone joining the stream, to anyone just joining now the stream, yes, I'm sorry, you did miss how Doug and Rob got into a laser fight in the moon. I'm sorry, but that's what you get for arriving at the stream late. Shame on you. Yeah, remember like they were riding on space cows? And they were fighting off gigantic dinosaurs. Wasn't that the best? I've been there with my Ask blog telling we're going from 1,000 over a year to 1,646 in just a few weeks, thanks to people liking my stuff, and it's wild. It really is. Like, my follower count even has like gone up, like it's shot through the moon. I didn't even think anyone would follow my Twitter. My Twitter is so stupid. I just retweet and like pretty much whatever comes to there. Just like retweet like just that pattern over and over, and very rarely will I ever talk on it. But for some reason, people just, wanted to follow me for that. Maybe follow me for when I actually talk about stuff, and just thank you. Again, I can't say that enough. Irate Gamer is kind of making a comeback. It's just his name is now Chris too. Ah. Okay, that makes sense. I would have taken the Evogen movie and addressed it to hell when you rent a tank. You have to rent a tank. Well, you got a tank, you rent a tank. Mars Reviews did sort of Attack Mr. about a year ago with that. Whatever, that's water under the bridge. And that's coming from someone who actually was a fan of Mr. Enter originally. I still watch his content here and there. I think everything surrounding Mr. Enter has kind of just sort of passed, and now everyone's kind of doing their own thing as of now. There was a point in time where, like, the entire cartoon landscape on YouTube was just in, like, complete chaos. There was, like, stuff about Phantom Strider, like, becoming a new Watch Mojo in the community, but then there was also stuff like, no, he's actually a chill dude. Very recently, there was something with stuff with Scoutfly where he kind of just, like, it was very evident, and I think even Mars Reviews pointed this out, where he's like, lied about like watching a lot of the content because he knew it would get views because people kept watching it, and he was so upset that he did that and no one ever really watched his regular content. So he kind of did that as like a whole experiment, as a ploy to like see how long it could keep going, and at some point he was just like, no, fuck this, I can't keep doing this anymore, like this is actually kind of stupid. And like even Mars Reviews was like calling this years ago, and he's like, yeah, like I don't know. But now it's just sort of died down. Everything's kind of just there. Yeah. Some of us make videos, some of us like or dislike videos, and some of us just randomly comment on videos. Yeah, I don't really dislike videos that much. I rarely dislike videos. Unless it's like, because I usually just like content that I know I'll like and has variety to it. Very rarely will I ever like actively dislike thing. I think I've like disliked maybe 2 videos in my entire time on YouTube from content creators that I actively watched. But yeah, looking forward to seeing content anyway. Thank you, Witty Banner. Do you be a great voice actor too? I really wouldn't. If you want to know who'd be a great voice actor, someone who commented on my videos, Ultimos, that guy's a really good voice actor. And he's only got like 500 subs. He deserves a lot more. I said this last stream, but I mean it. His range is unlike anything I've ever heard in like any actor. Find his stuff. I thought seriously about Twitch streaming. Necro, do it. I'd say like just do it. Twitch stream. Just I mean, I kind of wanted to stream, but it's like I on Twitch is weird. Because I started back in like 2014. Yes, it was 2014. And I have always used it ever since, just solely to comment on it. I didn't think I'd ever stream, nor did I think I would ever like have the YouTube channel or like Swizzly Bubbles or anything like that. And I kept it as like a secondary name, Extreme Gamer Man 10. And I sort of kept that name throughout a lot of my gaming related stuff. But now, because I'm seriously considering just doing like game streams on the side, just as, you know, something to do on my time off, and because I like chat interaction, now I'm considering if I should keep that or if I should change it to that for consistency. But then if I do that, then like I'm like sub to Proton John, how when like they read off like who resubs, it'll cause confusion, and then anyone who I was a regular in Twitch chat will be like, okay, who's this like random new Swizzly guy? Which that might cause problems. But I don't know. I think if I get to a point where like people will recognize like who I am in a sense, not to come off as like a pretentious dick, but like if people recognize who I am just based off of name alone and are like aware of like that, like it's if they get to a point where they can like just recognize me there, then I might just switch off the Extreme Gamerman thing entirely. If not, I could also just make it like a second channel and upload that like the stream archives to like a secondary thing. I don't know. I'll have to see what I do about that. I've been posting every week with reviews and stuff, and I've had a hard time getting off the ground with nothing but 21 subs. What would you suggest, Swizzly Bubbles? Okay. See, this is coming from someone who just got this, like, out of completely nowhere, but I will say this. I've brought up Quinton Reviews several times in many of these live streams because he's very, like, in the know about, like, a lot of YouTube culture and stuff that you do on the site, or just, he's very self-aware. And he made a video a while back saying what you should do for YouTube. And one of the biggest things is that, and he says, you know it's gonna sound like you're selling out, but do stuff you're passionate about, but also try and follow trends is the big thing. Or try and, like, get at the tail end of trends. And he's like, that's gonna sound like clickbait, and yeah, you're gonna get caught for it, but if you do it on, like, topics you're passionate about, or you have something to say on it, like, do it. Trying to find a topic that you love while also like having it become like popular enough that it'll get success. It's gonna bring traffic to your channel, and that's kind of like the idea is that you don't want to like fully rely on it, but you want to have that sort of like kickstart and boost to it. That's how I would that's what I would suggest. I would actually suggest watching through his whole video because that's like the main point, but there are many other points. That's just the one I took to heart the most, and it worked. That happened to me at first. My early streams I had to delete because of massive cringe. Now they're better. Have I heard of Nintendo? Yes, I have. I've actually seen. I just saw his Johnny Test review. I saw his like Sonic X retrospective that he did, way earlier on that as a collab. I saw his. I've seen his stuff. It's really good. He does like, he has this like voice that he has where it sounds like he's shouting, like a lot. That's kind of little weird. But if he like just I got used to it, but I could see where other people find that grating. If he just like, quieted down a bit, he's really eloquent in like what he talks about. And he actually does. He's really knowledgeable on what he talks about as well. It's just that like little quirk is, yeah, I could see where a lot of people be put off by that. I also have seen Shadow Streak, his entire series on Powerpuff Girls 2016 that he's doing. Like he covered the entire series and is basically covering now, I think, like Cartoon Network as a whole, pretty much. But like Powerpuff Girls is still his main thing. Those are really good. I really love those. I've seen Alpha J. I've actually seen like less of Alpha J than most of the others, but I do know of his work, and yeah, I do also like his stuff. How did I get my username? Okay, this is like a really weird story, but back when Minecraft was big, we're going like way back, and I just started it out. I had an orange soda can next to me, and I was like, okay, what should I do? Like, as create a username. And this is like the one time I was like, okay, this is like the first game I really played that is interacting with other people aside from like Team Fortress 2. And this was like when I was really young. So I'm like, I want to make this username stand out, but I want to make it like recognizable or whatever. And I'm like, Fizzy Bubbles? Because I looked over at the soda can that was next to me, and I'm like, Fizzy Bubbles sounds good, but it also sounds kind of generic. So I was like, should I add pizzazz to it, like Sizzly Bubbles? And then it was just sort of process of elimination. I was like, Swizzly Bubbles has a nice ring to it. Because, like, Swizzly is like like, it sounds like kind of like poppy, like just sort of, it just like had that feeling of just like a catchy name to it. And it just stuck. And then I just had been rotating between those for a while, and Swizzly Bubbles was the one that came to mind that just seemed like a good name fit for the channel. I'm not sure anybody would want me to play Star Trek online. You never know, Necro. You never know. I remember something Egoraptor said on game. I remember something Egoraptor said on Grumps once. This is probably earlier Grumps then. Scoutfly's channel went from a reviewing channel to a shitposting channel literally overnight. Exactly. Yeah, what Miss Anthropony said. There was this whole thing on Twitter about it. The principal was quoting BTTF, actually, but the principle is the same. I try to remember something Egoraptor said on... there for a second. What Egoraptor said on YouTube once. He said somebody told him that 30% of people are going to love you, 30% of people are going to hate you, and the other 40% won't care. Focus on the first. I think you have a pretty good voice. Would you be interested in some voices of my puppetry organization? I'm always making films / videos, and I could always use some extra voices. I can keep you in mind. I might. I don't want to do anything right now. I don't want to be, like, committed to any huge projects right now, because I'm already working on projects and that. I already have college. So for now, I'm going to decline. But, like, just keep me in, like, your mind if you want me to continue doing that. on that. I would say reach out to other people as well. Don't like solely rely on me to, do that. But just like, yeah, just like search around, keep me there, I guess, in case I do want to work on other stuff or work on other collaborations. But yeah. Do I watch Bobby Burns? He sounds familiar. I should probably look that up. I need to get to sleep. Goodbye, good night, and I wish you all the best of luck. Goodbye, random commenter. You've been like a recurring person on the streams, and I want to thank you like for staying with me so long. I'll give Twitch streaming a shot. Just a matter of getting up for it. Exactly. Like again, like OBS is free. I did this on like a Mac laptop. I didn't think like these actually like I had to like reconfigure some stuff at first and try and make everything work. But now that I've sort of gotten into a rhythm, it's helped. Blues fans and Alcohol Watch. Of course, I generally have a few people who are interested, so I tend to go to them if an extra part comes up. Okay, all right. Well, that's good. Yeah, again, just keep your interests open and all that. What was the other one? Bobby Burns. Right. Let me look that up. And then again, yeah, I do have to kind of call it for tonight. Bobby Burns. Oh, I know who he is. Yeah, I know him from his own channel, and I also know him mostly from Branson's. What he does. Yeah, I know of him. I've seen his stuff. Yeah, it's really good. I love his style of humor. Yeah. Ugh, God, it is getting late where I am. I should be like in another chat right now. Actually, wait, what time is it? Oh, right. Toonami's on. Yeah, okay. This stream is kind of just getting weird. I might do more of the casual streams later. I don't know. I like streaming, but I kind of just want to make like edited videos again. So for now, I think this is going to be like the last stream of Channel Awesome stuff for a while. As I've said before, I'm repeating myself. Just know that like actual edited content is on the way. I'm gonna be doing whatever I am going to do next. That's all for me tonight. Good night, all. Would love to talk again on live soon, dude. Thank you, Zandy Pants, and thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the stream tonight. You turned like a really crappy night, like, and just like a bunch of crappy news, crappy stuff, crappy everything on top of each other. It turned like a garbage fire, and you all turned it around and made it like something really nice in the end. Thank you all so much. And that's gonna be it for the stream. Thank you to all like the 200 plus people that came out tonight. That's like the highest I've ever had in a stream. Holy crap, you guys are awesome. More awesome than the channel itself. And I'm just gonna give myself like a little pat on the back. Sorry if I hurt your ears by hitting my headphones. And I'm gonna, stop being really cringy with this. This is getting bad. Okay, that's all for tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, everyone, I will see you all for whatever I plan next. Catch you all later. Goodbye, everyone.